Oh, goody.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Zombies here again, and today we're back with another Marvel Snap video. So today we're going to be going over 5 different decks that we can make use of the cards changed in today's OTA. So the OTA leaks were legit, and we have some pretty interesting stuff to mess around with. First up is Grandmaster becoming a 2/2, and there are a lot of different places you can probably try this card out. The effect is pretty strong. It just wasn't strong enough to make up for a 0 power body, but a 2 power body is a pretty different story, and Cerebro 2 seems like it could make really good use of this. So we have some good targets to copy with Grandmaster. We can use him to double up on these Broods or Mr. Sinisters to get more 2 power stuff on the board. Alternatively, we can use it on something like our Electra to kill a thing, Shadow King to nuke 2 lanes with the power reducing effect, or even just get a second Storm to limit where our opponent can play their cards. So if you like Cerebro 2 and you're looking to do something a little different with it, the new Grandmaster seems like a pretty interesting idea to try out. Then we have the Werewolf by Night bounce kind of stuff. Werewolf seems like it's going to be really good. I think there are going to be quite a few different homes for it. But the one that stands out most to me is Bounce. Bounce has already been doing very good with the recent edition of Sage, and we just modified it slightly to include some more cards that benefit from Werewolf. We are running both the Bounce enablers in Beast and Falcon, so we can keep getting those 1-drops back to our hand to keep bouncing the Werewolf around the board. Bast is really nice. It hits pretty much all of our deck positively, which is really cool. White Widow's another good bounce target in the 2-drop slot that works well with the Werewolf, and just getting the effect off multiple times can be annoying for the opponent. Sage, Bishop, Werewolf, and Angela are our main scalers here, and then we just have a bunch of good value 1-drops to bounce the Werewolf around the board and get a payoff from playing them multiple times. If bounce isn't really your thing, I do think a good card Sandman style of deck is one potential way to defeat it. Limiting the amount of cards they can play on their final turn is usually pretty big for stopping bounce. We have Iron Lad and Dr. Doom helping us go wide a bit. Captain Marvel for a bit of flexibility. Legion as our alternative scam plan. This deck also makes use of the new Leader, so you go Sandman into Leader. It is only a 1 power buff, but I think Leader has actually been fairly good in this style of deck even before the buff, so I think this will be fairly solid. You could also try a Miss Marvel route if you want. I opted to go for Captain Marvel here, as I liked the flexibility she provides in helping you win the game, but Miss Marvel also not a bad way to go in that slot if you want to focus harder on the go wide plan. Legion is our alternative 5 cost here, mainly to scam some games with different locations. People don't really seem to play around Legion anymore, so I think there's definitely some value in him there. And then good 1-drops, Nebula Nightcrawler, good 2-drops, White Widow Jeff, good 3-drops, Nocturne Gladiator. Just good stats for cost, and I really like having a critical mass of move cards here, as that makes it really hard for the opponent to reliably predict where all our power is going to end up on the final turn of the game. And that can be especially stressful for them when they are only able to play 1 card with Sandman. Next up is Spectrum Ongoing. This deck did take a little bit of a hit with Luke Cage and Spectrum losing a point of power each, but it does get access to the newly buffed Captain America, so 3/2, buffing your other ongoing cards by +2 power. And he is going to be taking over the Punisher spot here, as it is easier to get him to his max amount of power without having to rely on something like Jean Grey to force the opponent to fill up their lane. And yeah, it's just a pretty decent addition because we have so many ongoing cards in the deck. And I think the deck will still be very good even with the slight nerfs to the other cards in it. Also, if you don't have US Agent, I think this deck is still playable. I played it a bunch before I got US Agent, running armor in that slot. However, Agent is definitely better if you have it. So even if you don't have US Agent, I do think this deck is playable. Agent just makes it better, especially versus other decks that are playing high cost cards. With the Leech Blink stuff no longer being the best home for Darkhawk, I decided we'd try out some Ronan Darkhawk shenanigans using the new Baron Mordo. So Baron Mordo is no longer drawing a card, but it is making it so your next opponent's draw is going to be set to 6 until the final turn of the game, so it's kind of blanking a draw for them. So plan is just to fill up your opponent's deck with rocks, make it harder for them to play their cards with things like Iceman and Baron Mordo, Then get out some efficient stats for cost with our Crossbones, our Darkhawk, our Ronan, and with Shang-Chi likely creeping back into the meta, we're running both Armor and Cosmo as ways to protect our big things. And then one more bonus deck here. Sentry did get nerfed, but I do expect the Annihilus package to still be fairly strong. It also doesn't really have much of a weakness to Shang-Chi anymore, which is really nice. The Annihilus deck naturally runs a lot of really solid on-reveal cards, and we can even squeeze Grandmaster in here to get extra value out of them. The fact that Grandmaster is moving stuff around the board is kind of nice too, because it frees up space for our Werewolf to keep jumping around. And yeah, we just have a good critical mass of strong on-reveal cards. Red Guardian as our kind of tech piece. Deathstrike, which can deal with opponents' cards, or it can clean up some of our negative power stuff if we don't get our Annihilus. Sentry, definitely less good as a 4/8, but if you can send that Void over, it should still be a pretty impactful swing in the game. And yeah, I don't know if this is going to be the best version of Werewolf or not. I think there are a lot of different things we can try out with this card, but if you still want to play the Annihilus Sentry stuff, this seems like an interesting way to do it. That's going to wrap it up for our new OTA decks. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to grab any of these to import into the game yourself. And I'll be streaming these and some other interesting brews on Twitch today, so if you want to check out some live OTA gameplay, check the link in the description for that. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of the OTA in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.